want to watch.
How's it going, guys? Welcome to Fatberg. Today we got something pretty fucking dark to go over, actually. I wanted to kind of do this as a, I don't know, a reminder of the topics that are potentially going to be discussed on this channel. We've done a lot of wacky bullshit and whatever and stuff that can easily be joked about, but this is actually something pretty fucking gruesome. So, you know, be forewarned. I'll put the warnings up before the video starts and what have you. But today we're going to be talking about the murder of Robert Beckowitz. So let me go pull this up here. Robert Beckowitz was an American biker who lived a relatively uneventful life. He apparently grew up in an orphanage and experienced some abuse during that time. It's unlikely it, influenced anything that happened, but, that's the one detail that comes up. Yeah, he was fucked up in, in an orphanage, so, nobody had anything nice to say about him, like, oh, he fucking loved to paint. But, that might be up for debate. I'm not making fun of the guy, by the way. I'm just talking about, like, I think it's kind of dumb that, like, the one detail that circulates is, like, a friend of his being like, yeah, he was abused in an orphanage. Like, what else, Like, we just know the guy's name. Like, he was a biker. What was that like? Tell me about that shit. On July 17th in 1982, his longtime friend James Glover would show up to Robert's apartment, where he and his girlfriend, I think the name is pronounced Jeannie Clark, who James was secretly having an affair with, were watching, TV, hanging out. James would excuse himself sometime in the night and retrieve one of Robert's 45 caliber handguns, and he then proceeded to sneak up behind Roberts and shoot him in the head. After this, he would stab him roughly 80 times. I don't know if he survived the initial gunshot to the head. I don't think he did. Nothing in here says that, the stabbings were the fucking cause of death. But as brutal as all that is, it's only the beginning. Over the next 3 days, James and Jeannie had a drug-fueled sex fucking fit in the apartment, and in between would mutilate Robert's corpse, taking pictures throughout the entire process. Robert was cut into 14 pieces and had been stabbed around 100 times over the course of this. He was then loaded into plastic bags and hidden around the apartment. I don't know if they intended to leave him there or what. Sounds like there really wasn't much of a plan for how to deal with all this. On July 20th, Jeannie finally snapped out of her meth craze and called the police in a panic. She confessed to everything. The police showed up. They found James heavily just fucking zonked out from meth, arrested him, as well as Jeannie, and, the trial started. Jeannie lied, as far as I can tell here. She lied and claimed she was held against her will and forced to commit these acts, but witnesses said over the 3-day period she was seen coming and going as she pleased, just kind of doing whatever she wanted. James tried to plead insanity unsuccessfully, and eventually admitted to the crimes and was sentenced 30 to 50 years in prison. Jeannie was given a light sentence of 6 to 10 years, and we'll get into why that's light in a second here, if the prior details didn't do it for you. I can't find any details on what they actually ended up serving. I would be surprised if Jeannie actually served even the minimum 6 years. I could see her being released for good behavior, or maybe getting that knocked down to some sort of probation or something. Now, sometime in the future, the images were leaked to the internet. I say leaked, but we don't really know how they made their way onto the internet. I can't imagine that they were released by the court willingly, but, maybe they were. Who's to say? I'll try and censor one of the images, but if you're familiar with the case, you probably know of at least this one photo. I think I had seen this photo before actually looking into this. Now, before I move forward anymore, you can find the pictures online. They're really fucking bad. They're some of the worst images I've seen in a while. These are like cartel photos. It's really crazy because you don't typically get like a very close look at like a psychopathic killing like this, right? You know, people take pictures of what they do all the time, but that doesn't make its way out of the court. These, you know, they're out there for you to see, and it's fucking brutal. It's awful. And it's kind of important. It's one of those things, we're going to have a discussion about this one day, about like if it's good to look at gore and things like that. I don't really think it's good exactly, but sometimes these things exist as a reminder of how fucked up this stuff actually is, because if I just tell you the stories like, oh, 2 fucking meth heads killed a biker, who cares, right? It's not eventful, and you don't really think about the nitty-gritty details of it, but it's an awful fucking thing. And I have the images pulled up here. There's pictures of James dismembering Robert throughout the process. They posed his body as some sort of joke or something, which is one of the things that makes me think Jeannie is absolutely lying about all of this, because she's clearly very willing. The one image I'm going to try and show you is, again, the famous image. I think it's because it shows a relatively attractive woman killing somebody, so people are like, oh, that's fucking... But, yeah, she doesn't look too forced, I would say. This is pretty fucking bad, and you don't really hear about this story too much. Again, the only thing I'd ever really heard about is this fucking picture of Jeannie. Is like, you know, oh, a hot chick cuts a guy's head off, and it's like, okay. And I will say, she's pretty attractive. I'm sorry to Robert, dude. This sucks. Because, like, fucking James was apparently this dude's best friend, and he was fucking banging his girlfriend behind his back, and then they killed him and butchered him. Like, what the fuck? And on top of that, so I don't know if you would call this a movie. It's more of a weird porno. So again, I'm gonna call her. She's like a pretty popular fetish porn star by the name of Felicia Fisher. She does these weird like underground movies. I think what the fuck's his name? Unboxed, Watched, and Reviewed has checked out some of her films, and they did one called The Degenerates, which is based on this case. And again, it's difficult to call it a movie. It's more erotic in nature, but again, this shit was bad, dude. Why are we fucking... like, why are we joking around about this? Why are we making movies just kind of like poking fun at the case? What the fuck is this? Oh, that's something else. I see the Degenerates too, but I think that's a completely different fucking thing. Yeah, you can go ahead and watch I can't say that word. The Degenerates. The Degenerates. There we go. I haven't had much of my coffee. Bear with me. I've seen bits of that. That's nothing. It's you know, it's pretty cheaply made, but whatever. Maybe we'll do an actual watch of that. The images themselves, I don't recommend looking at. Those are pretty fucking awful. Not safe for life, as one might say. I think that's where this came up, actually. I think I was watching Moth's Not Safe for Life Iceberg, and these were pretty low on the tiers there. But again, it's an awful case. It's kind of sad, actually. Again, you know, I'm not gonna call Robert a meth head, but he was hanging out with meth heads, and he was a biker. So again, it's just kind of like, you associate with these types of people and shit happens, but it's still very sad. I feel bad for the guy, and I don't think we need to be poking fun at all of this so much.